Guys, it's Epic Underworlds, and in today's video, I'm going to be starting a new series of me making a trading card game in college and making it into a business. You guys can follow along and learn how to make your very own card game and even start your own TCG business. So I'll be breaking this series down into guide videos, so while I make the card game, you guys can follow along and make one as well. So ever since I was a kid, I've been making these handmade trading card games, and even a few more digital games as the years have progressed. And now it's finally time to take everything I've learned and make a more professional game. And I still want to hold on to a lot of those handmade aspects of handcrafted art. I really want this game to be made for the art of TCGs, like just for TCG's sake. I don't want this to be a major commercial game. I just want this to be more of a niche TCG that is really a TCG at its roots. It's fun, it's a whole world to explore, and it has that handcraft to it. Kind of like old Magic the Gathering art, except I'll be using colored pencil. Okay, so the number one thing you guys are always gonna wanna start with is starting a new binder. This can be a notebook or anything to keep track of all your TCG notes, your plans, your ideas. And the cool thing about this binder is I made a little cover sheet. And whenever you guys comment an idea that I really like for the game, any comment that is good, I will add it to this little canvas. And by the end of the series, we'll have a whole canvas of great ideas from you guys in the community. You can also join my Discord server if you want to learn how to make TCGs and follow along other people who are also working on their own TCGs. Link in the description. So this binder is basically going to have all the plans, the ideas. Here is my previous TCG binder that I made for my old game, and it's just filled with art and ideas and plans and character sketches. So first, you're going to make a list of things you like and things you don't like in trading card games. The reason you're going to do this is because you're setting up the foundation of, okay, the things I like, this is what I want to add to my card game in my own unique style. The things I dislike is what I don't want to add to my card game. This narrows it down so you have a base foundation for your game, because otherwise you just don't know where to start. So I started off with some things I like. I like handcrafted art. There's nothing wrong with a digital art. I think there is something wrong with using AI art, but using digital art is really great for a lot of creators. It's accessible, it takes a lot of skill, but there's something about handcrafted art that I just really like. It's very difficult to use, and you often have to accept a lot of the imperfect parts of it. I think it gives you a really unique style because of course you have those imperfections, and you can create whole worlds just from your hands. I really like that idea, and I really just want to use handcrafted art to fight that idea of AI art, because I mean, if you're going to make a card game for humans by a human, I think it should be with art that you make, or at least that art that you hire. Yes, you can use AI art if you want to make a TCG, but I don't really think it has that much value as what a human can offer. I also want to add story and world building. I always love card games that have a story to go along with their characters and cards, so the players can follow along and get invested. I want characters that are funny and unique, but also serious and add a lot of deep lore to the game. This might look like one of the sets being planned over a story arc. So I draw a little story for the game, and then I make cards based on that story. That's a good thing that you guys can do too. I want the game to be simple and approachable. Yes, the game skeleton is going to be simple and approachable, but the cards are where the complexity comes in. So anyone can pick up the game, but if you're a player and you want to get into the more complex parts, you can just build a deck with more complex abilities. Then I want smaller sets. This is more of an album idea. So if you've ever had a favorite artist that has dropped an album, you might realize that there's some things you really like. I want that kind of concept to be a TCG set. So every album has a theme, it's got a story, it's got really cool songs. I want that to be for card games. It's gonna be smaller sets, it's gonna have themes, really quality cards that aren't just gonna be rushed out. You know, Magic the Gathering is a huge company. They can make a set every month with 200 cards. I'm just a small creator, so I want to make more humble sets of just a few characters, maybe like 80 card sets, so you guys can just have fun collecting. Things I do not like in card games are the booster pack model and rarities. Now, I've talked about this previous in my channel, but I really want to implement it into my new game. The reason I don't like the booster pack model is because it basically puts value in money. It doesn't really put value in the cards. Like, whenever you're opening a pack, do you really care all about the commons? Do you really care about the uncommon cards? You just want to get to that shiny card that's worth a lot of money. I don't want that to be the case. I want people to be able to just make a one or two time purchase to have the game and just play it. You know, I'm not trying to make crazy money from this game. I'm making this as a passion project because I've always made TCGs. I love the form, and I want to try to make the greatest one I can while holding on to that more artistic flair. Yes, I could probably make a lot more money if I make this game with a booster pack model, you know, make a bunch of sets, have you guys spend tons of your money to get cards that you might get for gambling, because I really think booster packs are gambling, because you're opening a bunch of packs hoping to get a card that is worth money, and I don't like that. And rarities, like if it's a common, you might not think it's a good card. I want you to be able to look at a card and appreciate it because it has good art, you like the story, you like the character, you like how the card plays, nothing else. So there won't be rarities, there won't be a booster pack model, and I think that's going to be a major turnoff for people, but that's fine. You know, if you like booster packs, every other card game out there, almost every other card game out there, is for you to go explore. That's not going to be the case for my, and I don't want to use AI or digital art. There's nothing wrong with digital art. I love people who make TCGs with digital art. It's just not the thing I want to do for my game. I wanted hand-drawn art, as I stated. The template itself will be digital, but I'm going to try to make it look handmade, so it still has that craft and devotion. Because, you know, I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of famous manga artists and Van Gogh, and they just have this certain devotion that I just always love, that they just put so much time and quality into each panel, each card, and I want to do that for TCGs. I want it to be a quality game and not be hindered by money. And, you know, if you're going to make a artistic card game, why use AI? You know, I just don't see any point. Yes, it may be easier to make an AI TCG, but making something that's easy doesn't exactly mean that it's going to be valuable to you. You know, if you make an AI TCG, you're left with something that you didn't even make. You just generated it. And I want to be left with something that I put all my time and effort into and be proud of. And that you guys, when you open those products, the cards, you feel the quality, you appreciate the cards. And I also don't want basic art. I want there to be more abstract concepts, themes, characters. So like when you look at them, it's like looking at an actual piece of art. You actually think about it. You want to wonder more about it. It's not just like, oh, this is a sword, this is a shield. There's more to it than that. So once you guys have done that, you put about what you like and dislike. You're also going to want to put some mechanics of what you like. Like if you played card games and you really like a certain resource system, you like a certain card type, write those down. And if you really don't like luck, or if you really don't like major strategy in your game, write that down and then basically plan your design skeleton off of that. So I don't really like major competitive players in my card game. I don't like how someone can just buy all the most expensive cards and just beat someone who just got into the game. I want there to be more of a balanced ratio. So if someone who just gets into the game who has the same product as you can still use strategy and win. You know, it's not like they have to have the One Ring or all these crazy Black Lotus cards. It's just they have these cards, there's a certain element of luck, there's a lot of strategy, and it's more even. You know, it's not just one-sided. That being said, there will still be a lot of strategy in the game. Just I won't be revealing the exact gameplay yet, because that'll be for the next video where I talk about play testing, but this is just episode 1 of me getting the ideas down. As far as the theme, you know, in my previous card games, I've always liked the idea of making a dream world, so I think that's going to be the major theme for this card game. So speaking of that, let's get into some of the art. Now, I didn't want to start this series without actually making some arts, so I made about 100 pieces, but that is because I just wanted to practice. I wanted to get my ideas out, and these 100 pieces will only be used, maybe only 20 of them will be used, because I have an idea for the next batch of arts that I really wanted. Alright, so there's a bunch of pages of just individual arts. As you notice, they're very small. They're smaller than my hand, and that's because I gotta make a lot of these for all the cards, and these will be each as a card. I'm not really going to be using many of these because I don't like a lot of them. I'm going to be redrawing them, but I might use some of these. I think that one turned out really good, but basically this is just me getting my ideas down. So I'll be just going from art to art. You guys can look at the ones you like, comment down below, with timestamps of which cards you really want to see make it in the final version of the game. But each of these took me about 1 to 2 hours, so yes, it was a lot of time, but I think it's really valuable for me developing my art skills, because after this batch of cards I actually got a lot better with art because I just made all these. So these are just, I think that one is actually really good. I'm probably going to use that one, but these are just a bunch of ideas that I have for card arts, and I think you guys don't have to do final arts like this, but you can do a bunch of concept sketches for cards you really want to do, because, you know, if you're going to make a TCG, why not try to make it the best TCG you can make? That takes time, so don't rush it. Have fun really putting quality into that, so when you're done with your final product, you can look back and be like, oh yeah, I spent so many hours into that game and made it look really good. This is probably one of my favorite arts, the snowman dude. I just think he turned out really good. These two are probably actually going to make it into the new set too, because those look pretty cool too. I tried doing a double card here. I don't think it turned out that well, but that's cool. So yeah, there's a few more arts too, which I will show you guys also, but these are the main full spread. I just took a giant piece of paper and just filled it with a bunch of art. Okay, so then I started drawing drawing some of the characters I really liked. This guy is Sleep Deprived Dave. I think you guys will really like him. He's just like a dude who works at the office, who's always sleep deprived. He's always caffeinated, and I think he's gonna be a really awesome character. We got the Poet Snail, who's just a snail who wanders through the wilderness reading poems. We got this dude who's like some sort of like, I was watching a video about dreamscapes and liminal art, and I got the idea for him. We got some more characters here. I might have shown these previously. We got Parting Bug. That was a favorite character in my last game I made. And then these are some of the ideas that I had. So I want this to be like some sort of I want there to be a land in the game that's just a giant wheat fields with kind of a cool backstory to it. So I won't be really telling you guys too much. This is just me showing you guys some of the early arts for the game. I guess this is like the alpha versions of the art, because most of these will be remade. Cards like this I will probably keep because that looks good, and that one maybe. Most of these will be remade. That one is actually, there's like this smoke tower outside my door, so I just drew that into a card. And then this is a series I really like, so I'm gonna remake these. So yeah, that was just basically me making arts for the first month or two of college, but then I had a really good idea. So I was just drawing one day, and I decided to make some sort of like little canvas for the art, and this is what happened. So I drew my favorite character, which is Spike Serpent, and I basically drew him on, like, instead of like clustering all the cards in a giant panel like this, I drew him like in an individual canvas, and it made me really want to make the card, like each card, better, because each card was like a little canvas, and this gave me an idea. So what if after I publish the game, I sell these original arts for major collectors? So if you really like watching the series and you really want to get your hands on an original piece of art, kind of like how Magic the Gathering sold their original pieces of art, you guys can buy one of these. And so I've been doing a few of these. And these will be what the final cards will look like, or like the final card arts. So I'm gonna make a bunch of these, and yes, they take a lot longer than the like smaller arts, but I think they look a lot better. So I'm really excited about this. If you guys have any ideas for any of these, let me know. But these are like the first few that I've been doing. I'm really excited about this. I think that this is just gonna make the quality of the art in the game so much better. I put them in these like little protector sleeves because, you know, if someone ever wants to buy them, I don't want to damage them. I'll probably keep most of them, but I will sell some if anyone wants to be like a major collector of the game. And yeah, so this is probably my favorite one so far, Spike Serpent. I just think he turned out really good. But that is basically episode 1 of where the game is at. I mean, look at my desk. I've got all these all the plans for the game right over here. But if you guys are really liking this series, and if you learned a lot from this video, you know, feel free to comment, subscribe. You don't have to, but I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey. The next video will probably be more art, maybe do some speed arts of me drawing, do some play testing, talk about the more of the rules of the game. This was episode 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.